Yep. Mhm. Okay, thank you. Give me a second, please. Okay, now let's begin. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to my webinar, broadcasting live from Mexico City. Today is Friday, March the 3rd, 2017. My local time is 1 a.m., almost 15 minutes past the hour. 7 a.m., 15 minutes past the hour, almost GMT time. This is me, myself, Alberto Alvarado. This is my free YouTube channel. Go there and subscribe. iiivb Spring Room channel. You type it in the search box. This shows up. You click subscribe. I would like to thank David, also known as RacerX, for being around. Guest 56. And of course, Ksenia Shulaeva. I never will forget how to pronounce your name. So, welcome and thanks for the recording and for hosting. Well, it's time to begin. Today is Friday, and I have a huge question. If somebody could answer me, please, because I am very confused. Shouldn't today be non-farm payroll number? And just check that it's going to be next weekend, next Friday. Am I wrong? Did I miss something? I was completely surprised. I was planning my whole day for non-farm payroll number today, and just realized it's going to be next week. I don't know if this is normal, because I've known of non-farm payroll numbers that are moved, but I didn't know this was going to be one of them. So if somebody could, or maybe I just got something wrong, but let me check in the calendar. Because this is really, I mean, it's not the end of the world, of course, overall, because now the markets are too much optimistic. Yeah, I'm checking, and today, I believe that maybe it's because we're going to have several members of the FOMC speaking, so maybe that is why non-farm payroll number, the usual is the first Friday of every month, is going to be moved for next week, because actually the next month on April we're going to have PMI tomorrow Saturday. Oh my. I mean, once you develop certain style as a trader, you even tend to ignore some news, because at least in my style, I try to adapt my trading to precisely avoid circumstantial volatility due to some kind of news. So I can more or less forget about the news and just have time to digest them and to factor them in my trades, rather to close them, increase them, close them in profit, loss, whatever. So that is why I was surprised, but okay, that is why then RacerX, David. It's weird, but well, I mean the markets are on, and we have. I usually dislike a lot non-farm payroll. I don't like trading that news. I don't like when that news happens, because the whole world stops for a while and there's a lot of volatility that usually is senseless. And the most likely thing is that the markets are so bullish now, over optimistic, that no matter how bad the number is, I believe that non-farm payroll next week is going to be ignored if it's not as high as expected. Even if it's lower than expected, I believe that the markets will just tend to ignore it, because there are way more important elements that, I mean, the markets were fearful and eager to find, as I just explained some other webinar, to find some ground and to start feeling comfortable investing under Donald Trump's administration since January. So at the very first time they had it, they just grabbed the opportunity, and the most likely that they will tend to ignore for at least 1 month any kind of bad news. I mean, when the markets are fearful, they tend to ignore even the good news. But when they are optimistic, they tend to even ignore the bad ones. So that is human psychology. So we tend to filter the things that don't fit into our mindset, our beliefs, our expectations, desires, etc. So in this case, I believe that the markets are really, really pro and risk-taking mode. So, well, just want to tell you that because some hours ago I was like, what? No paper numbers, not today. But well, let's begin with the blog post that I put just, I believe it was at 8 p.m. GMT time, if I'm not wrong. And well, this is at the time I posted it, the candle was just here. And I put this dollar-yen roadblock. Increased possibilities that we have found a take-profit area that could lead to a healthy retracement to help the bulls to continue their journey to the 115. During the rest of American session and Nation 1, this scenario could unfold, leaving the market reset of its overbought sentiment just before non-farm payroll number. I even put here that I was expecting today non-farm payroll number. But well, anyways, what I anticipated happened. We had a roadblock in 114.50. I'm going to review the trades that I opened during the trader contest that are yen-based and how I dealt with this circumstance. And as you can see, no matter if the market started doing higher highs, I was not trapped in that illusion. I was tracking the market, and I was seeing since this moment all over from the 114.50 from this time. Every time the market went higher, I continued seeing bearish behavior. And this is what happened. When euro dollar hit the 105, everybody just started selling dollar and buying yen. In this case, I believe this was profit taking. So yeah, my objective was 114.30. As you see, it even went 15 pip lower. But well, since we're going to review the disaster that happened in my first trade, well, I'm building up on my account on the trader contest, so I am not that worried. But well, I just didn't want to risk more, maybe just to say let's put it to the 114.20 or 15, and just to see the market again go against me, because that is something that psychologically I didn't want to have today. Maybe some other day, but not one day after. Just precisely because I'm not closing the trade manually to avoid having penalties under my points on conditional orders. But well, I'm going to explain you what happened. The things that you can see, my target was hit here, and if it went lower, now we are hovering 114.20. What I do believe, still believe, I don't know if the market will continue going lower. I see it more difficult since today, any kind of big movement, I believe that could happen at the ending of American session after having these guys speaking. Let me see exact time the FOMC members will deliver some. Okay, well, Evans, FOMC member Evans speaks at, what is this, at 9 a.m. GMT time. No, 3 p.m. GMT time. So that means that is 9 a.m. American session. I believe that any kind of big movement Could happen at American session, maybe last minutes of American session, because Yellen speaks at 12 at 6 p.m. GMT time. That is more or less 1 p.m. American time. So what I believe that's going to happen next is that the dollar yen should consolidate in a range between 114.50 and the 114.15, or even trying to get to the 114. I don't think so. But anyways, I think that this was a very healthy movement to the downside, because remember that we had in one day a pickup from the 112 to the 113, and then just paused a little bit in the 113, and we got to the 114, and we got to the 114.50. And here I started seeing exhaustion. So yeah, the market just is taking a breath. So maybe this could help the markets to start building again bullish positions. I don't discard that the scenario that we will see is that this could get lower, lower, and lower, and the same investors that bought at before the retest of the 112 are going to be the ones that will be buying while this market goes lower and lower. We're going to check that in more detail with the charts. And firstly, let's review how is my performance in the competitions. The strategic contest, here it appears that I have 6,500 profits. Now I'm 62nd place, but this is because the strategy opened a trade long yen some hours ago that is hovering in losses, but it's not because that trade is already closed in losses. I honestly believe that this trade has all the chances to be closed in profit, because it is following the exact plan under which I designed my strategy. That is that the bullish sentiment on yen will prevail over everything during at least 1 or 2 weeks. And exactly this retracement that I thought that it was even necessary just happened. So now, and since I believe that the range that we will be moving today, at least before Ms. Yellen is speaking, is going to be between the 114.15 and the 114.50. So this trade is aimed to, let me show you. Hello, Rocas, how are you doing? I thought you were not coming today. I believe that maybe you decided to take the Friday off. Welcome. I'm just about to launch my strategy contest account so you can see where the trade was open. So, well, I honestly believe that, I mean, the problem with the pullbacks after a huge movement to the upside is that they at times tend to be bigger. The problem with the strategy model that I followed to design the strategy, for this contest is not considering precisely those overextended pullbacks. So yeah, we could have this trade closed, but I want to show you where my stop loss is, so you can have an idea. And I mean, I open completely openly about this, because actually my strategy on the contest is public. You can download it, you can run it in your J4X. The thing is that you copycat it and put it to compete in the competition. Of course, the Dukascopy will realize that and will disqualify you. But this is public. You can download it, and if you were lucky, maybe to profit from it. Okay, so here is my strategy. Oh no, okay, I will log in. He's running the next webinar. Oh, okay, Rocas. It's okay. So I need to finish at my time then. Okay, my platform is launching, so I will show you the snapshot. So this is why I am commenting openly on this. I mean, this is not any kind of proprietary trading or something like that. It is here it is. it is something that you can actually download and run it. Here it is. Okay, here it is. So this is where the pullback opened the trade automatically below the 114.30, and the market continued going lower and lower, but this has stabilized. So this is how this looks in the 15-minute chart. The stop loss is below the 114. So maybe this is what I don't like, because we could have even the market trying to retest the 114, some pips below, and then shoot up. But well, this is something that I cannot change, at least not now. So I will have to let it run. What I like is that if you watch here in the 15-minute chart, we have this very good support that was retested heavily, and then the market rebounded, and now it's retesting it again. So I believe that this region just above the 114 should be respected. And at some moment today, we could have maybe the market hesitating, doing some kind of this, and maybe this and this, and getting to the 114.50. You see that my take profit here is the 114.66.4, thing that I dislike, because it's even higher this previous high. But well, since we are in a heavy uptrend, what you can expect is overextended movements to the upside instead of to the downside. So well, I will have to let it run anyways. I cannot fix or tweak anything like this, and this is the floating loss. So that is why my performance there was reduced, but well, the trade is opened. So let's see what happens. The binary option contest, yesterday was, I opened 2 trades again, and the ending of the day, one was closed in loss and one in profit. So I stay pretty much the same with a $800 and something in profit, 43rd position. I need to tune my way to trade this. I am trying to figure it out. But I will continue with a model of opening only one trade with expiration, 1 trade per day. Maybe what I will do is, instead of opening 2 trades, I will open the maximum 5, diversifying, but not being actively trading it. So I need to figure it out. I still have a lot of ways to go. This is the social context, my best competition so far. I'm the 36th, and with $6,000 in profit. But what is incredible is that the first place here, if I'm not wrong, already had 100% on profit or something. So it's really insane. But well, this is my first time in the social contest that I am above, because almost immediately I wipe all these accounts. So this is good. And the trader contest, I believe that this should look more or less the same than yesterday, but the thing is that very yesterday I was commenting that I was holding a short in dollar yen that I had to close. I had to open a bullish trade. I closed it at 114.50, and then after some hours I shorted dollar yen and profited closing it at 114.30. I'm going to explain that graphically in the chart, but well, this looks pretty much the same than yesterday, but because yesterday, before closing that trade, this wasn't updated. So this got to the 60 area. So I made it from the 60 to the 83 back again. So I didn't plan any trade during the day because I was betting to track the market just before non-farm payroll number. But since that won't happen, maybe I won't open any trade in this competition today. But it depends on the price action. So let me take a snapshot. Okay, here it is. Give me a second. Okay, let's check what of the 10-minute chart. Oh, sorry, I need to focus on this because this doesn't want to work. I really think that I will have to get a new computer soon. This is getting strange. I don't know if I even have a virus here. Okay, let me just load it. Okay, here it is. Here is the chart. This is dollar yen, as you can see, the 15-minute chart. So this is what happened yesterday. Okay, yesterday at the time of the webinar was this. I was saying that I was holding a short trade actually from here. That I was explaining that yesterday I opened other live trades, even live trades to the downside on yen, and I closed it at the 113.50. But when I wanted to close this trade at this moment in the competition, the price was already here. So since I didn't want to have any penalties on that, I decided not to close it, just to reduce my take profit target to here, but it went completely against me. So this is the price I had to pay just to not to lose some points in the conditional orders thing. That is why that aspect of that competition, I really don't like it. But well, of course, this month I won't be able to have that 50 point thing because of course, at this moment, I was expecting even here at the time of the webinar, you can see here, this is 8 a.m. So my webinar was during this time. I was saying that I was holding a short position, that my stop loss was at 114.50, but of course that if I saw some bullish opportunities, I wouldn't let this stop loss just to be hit, etc. But some hours after the webinar, of course, you can see we had this retest, but here, just here, the bullish confirmation was super heavy. So I just decided then, what I wanted to avoid is the penalty here that actually incurred me in a huge loss. I had to do it here, closing it manually, but incurring in a loss. So that was not a good deal for me, but anyways, this is the way it's going now. So I closed it manually, and I opened manually a long trade. I was tracking the market, it retraced a little bit, and it went in my favor, and at 114.50, I closed it. You remember this price was the initial stop loss of this short trade here. That is why you don't have to wait. You need to put your stop loss, this is my recommendation. You need to put a stop loss in a decent distance that allow you to analyze the market under normal conditions with no super extra volatility that maybe wouldn't give you time to analyze the structure. Just your stop loss would be stopped out as an emergency measure. But in any case, that 80–90% of all other time, the markets will give you time to react. So here, I decided to long, not because it retested this high. No, it's because the overall structure in the lower time frames was telling me that the 114 area was clearly broken by volume, by mathematical analysis, etc. So that is why I decided to buy here. I was maybe considering waiting for a pullback, but having the consequences of just not wanting to be penalized by 1 point, not closing manually here a profitable trade, because at that moment it was profitable, this trade. I had to incur into that penalty and in a loss. So here I didn't want to wait. I just closed it manually. I opened manually. Okay, a long trade. I was tracking it, and when it got to the 114.50, that was my previous stop loss. I closed it. As you can see, a lot of people. Here's my closing, and a lot of people took profit here and then made it rebound. But something interesting happened after this. After the market retested this high, all this price action in the very low time frames was showing me weakness. That is why I posted that thing in the traders blog, that actually this is the roadblock that I found. It retested here once, then twice. Here at this moment, exactly the euro dollar retested at 105, and then bang, this continued moving down. So Here. I opened after this movement to the upside. I started seeing this weakness to the downside, so I decided to short this. I opened market order here, so not a conditional one. I opened a market order, so it went against me in some hours, and then bang, it moved in my favor. And as you can see here, is my take profit. This was executed automatically, so I didn't intervene to close it. I was tracking that the continuation could lead up to here, but it was like 5-7 pips more, but I didn't want to lose to run the risk. But it even went lower up to here. So this is what we are seeing now. My robot in the strategy contest opened a long trade, as you just saw more or less here. So now it's in a little bit of a loss, but well, we have everything, fundamental, even technicals, etc. aligned. I believe that the markets were really trying to take a break, but there were forces that won't allow them. And I see it here. This first sell-off after retesting 114.50 was very, very eye-catching. And then afterwards, this intraday price action of, I'm going to tell you something, all this intraday price action is the typical bull trap. That it tends to show you, even on technicals, that the continuation of the movement will happen soon. That's what the technicals were saying. The very fingerprint, very specific in the 1 minute and in sometimes the 10 second, was telling me otherwise. And I've seen this tons of times. So I just decided to, I have a stop loss at 114.75 if I'm not wrong. But well, the higher it got, the more convincing signals to the downside started receiving. So a lot of people went long here. Maybe saying, you know what, this is not going to take a pause. And then, that is why we had after this, a very strong continuation of the sell-off from here to here, because here, from here to here, a lot of bulls were throwing out a towel, realizing that the market actually was going to take a pause. So a lot of people that were longing here, continued, started taking some losses here and here and here and here. And that is why the movement didn't stop. Okay, but well, as you can see, this movement was so good that after this sell-off, even the price didn't got to retest this. This is a 10 period, I believe. Let me tell you, 14 period moving average. So well, now we're building a floor here. So in synthesis, what happened yesterday is I had to incur in a loss yesterday in the trader competition. I recovered part of it here, and the rest of it I recovered here. So today for me was a lost day, let's put it that way, because I didn't increase, I didn't decrease. But well, that is why, because I had to take a loss here. So yeah, at the moment I revealed my account to the 100,000, I will start opening on the conditional orders again. I know that just because of these penalties, I maybe won't even get into the paid positions. But for me, as you have realized in other webinars, I've been saying that the real objective for me of the trade competition, the 6 and 12 month competition. So for me, it's like a must to recover the $100,000 I lost last month in the competition. For me, that is my minimal objective. I really don't care if I get there only using market orders, whatever. But well, I will try to use conditional ones, but not before I get it to break even. But well, as you can see, the whole comprehension of all this goes in tandem. Unfortunately, this short trade that actually went in my favor, as you can see, it went against me a little bit less than what it got in my favor. But unfortunately, I just didn't want to close it manually. I had bad luck, that is, because here I had to go to sleep, so I didn't have the time to check it. And when I woke up, well, it was above. So this is what happened yesterday. I want you to show you another trade that I opened. And this happened because I was precisely following the dollar yen, and I was of course watching euro dollar. And here is what I was telling you. This is when the market convincingly retested the 105. This is euro dollar. This is euro dollar 15-minute chart. Okay. During all this time, the euro was selling off and selling off and selling off. The dollar yen was hesitating to take an active movement to the downside, but it continued accumulating fractal price action that was telling me that what's going to happen is that it will go lower. So when I was checking, and exactly when the euro dollar did this, retest the 105, is when we had in the previous chart, it got to the highest of that bull trap that I just described in dollar yen. So I said, let's do this. This is going to happen now. Okay? Why? Because it's a no-brainer. It's a psychological level. So the market was waiting the euro to get to the 105 to do the rest. So here you can see that I open at this very moment. While I was holding that short in dollar yen in continuous losses, but increasing volumes and price action to the downside, and this happened, I said this is going to happen now, this will go up and dollar yen will go down, and that's exactly what happened at that very moment. From that moment, dollar yen didn't look up again. So I open here, you see the signal, I open a long trade here, and my initial take profit target was 105.30. But as you can see, I closed it here. I simply liked way too much this very good bullish candle, but I've seen tons of times after this happening precisely this. It takes a dip and then it boosts back up. The thing is with 105.30, that is very close to this high. So if we have some participants trying to defend the lower highs, in this case maybe they will try to defend this zone instead of allowing it to get into this to retest this high. So I just decided to take profit here. So in bottom line, yesterday I closed manually a losing trade that was initially profitable that I didn't want to close because I wanted to avoid a penalty. So I had to take the penalty and take a loss. I reverted that in market order, assuming a penalty that initially I didn't want to accept in the previous trade. I closed the trade in profit manually. It was manually? Yes, it was manually at 114.50. And then some hours later, I shorted manually a dollar yen trade. And then when this happened, I opened manually a long trade here. So I believe that I have opened the 8 manual trades against 2 conditional orders. So yeah, my pointing there is going to be very low so far. I don't know how I will deal with this, because if I see that this works for me, but you didn't put stop loss near position, in this case you won't get penalty. Why you didn't put stop loss near position? In this case, I just, you know what? I think that I just simply didn't see it. The problem is that I was so tired that I said, you know what? And yes, that was the logical thing to do. But the problem is that I was so tired at that moment that I maybe just skipped that. So yeah, it was my bad. It was my complete mistake. I moved the take profit, but I didn't move the stop loss. So yeah, that is what happened. I really wanted to close that trade in profit, and I focused so much in profit that I didn't move the stop loss. So well, yeah, But the thing is that I have always sustained that when one is a trader, a good trader, even if one have a bad month or even a bad year, we should still keep the skill to overcome the losses. So yeah, I was like disappointed. The lesson is I need to work before having this exhaustion level, because at that point I miss a lot of things. I commit a lot of mistakes, etc. So that is why, Rocas, I just simply skip that. I was just so eager to go to sleep at that time that I said, you know what, let's move this and that's it, and forgot. And well, here are the consequences. But well, close one trade in loss and closed 3 trades in profit in the latest 24 hours. So that is why my account is almost at 85,000. I don't know if I'm going to open any trade today because I was expecting a Vampiro number. But well, I still have a lot of weeks. And I don't know how many trades I could be opening for the rest of the month. But if I have to think over this weekend the approach that until I get to the 200,000, meaning recovering the $100,000 losses last month, maybe I could start opening conditional orders. Why? Because let's put it this way. A certain style that I follow under the trader contest usually is using conditional stop orders, meaning after, imagine that I have opened what I usually like to do in this competition is, okay, it hit here, and I think this will go up. I don't put a limit order. I put a stop order, meaning if the price moves 5 pips in the direction I am anticipating, the trade will be opened. Okay? So instead of opening here, maybe it would have been open here. So this is more or less the kind of stuff that I want to do. But maybe what I will do for the next week is try to get to the 200,000 opening smaller trades like 10, 15 pip trade each. So if I lose 5 pip here, I will lose them here. Okay, so I need to think how during the weekend if I'm going to do that, because of course that you open a market order, that doesn't mean that you're entering in the best price ever. So I need to check it out and I will let you know. But honestly, I feel very comfortable with my overall, the prepared comprehension of the dollar yen that led me to get into the strategy competition that I never get there, or it's very rare. I was so convinced of my approach and understanding of dollar yen that, yeah, maybe yesterday I missed some trades that I didn't open because I thought they were kind of difficult or more risky than average. But yes, I would have opened maybe 2 trades with 10 from 10 to 11, 10 to 7, 8 pip of profit. So if I do that in a decent manner next week, I could get to the 200,000. So I need to analyze this because, of course, that is way more tiring. It's a very scalping way to trade, and I don't like that in this competition. But I really want to overcome my losses last month, so that my 6 and 12 month performance, that is the one that I look forward, gets better. Even if I don't win this competition, but I fix that, I could even call it a month. I need to think over some other aspects of trading, like the way I will continue dealing with the binary option thing, etc. Because I am, you know what, it is happening something that I didn't expect it. I thought that saturating myself under a lot of contests was going to be even hard and even like wishing Friday gets so I can have a rest. And it has happened the complete opposite. I am so motivated. I am so happy of being always aware of different aspects, etc. This helped me focus in a way that maybe I lost the pace because of you. When you get used to something, trading live account in a certain way, you tend to get to a comfort level that you don't enjoy it that much anymore. Maybe you don't suffer it, but this extra thing that I am doing just put back the wow thing in the trading. So, well, I really need to figure out how to keep up with this and not to be the only month I do this. The fundamental competition is the one that I see very difficult to get in because, I mean to win it or to win something because it is super demanding, but well, I will try to do my best. I was figuring that maybe the technical and ask competition, I could maybe write something this weekend for that competition, etc. So yeah, it's been a very motivating first week of this month. And even though the trader contest is not doing great, it's not doing bad, at least not in my standards, because after losing $100,000 in the first 2 weeks and after having a first margin call during the first week of competition, closing an account and recovering almost all the losses is good. So yeah, I believe that this is going to be everything for this session. Let me see if I have just a scan quickly if there is something interesting. Well, just let me show you the dollar yen. Dollar yen, as you see, well, it's kind of wanting to move up. Of course, this is not a sure thing. My automatic trade could close a trade here. In any case, this is positive. So I need to do some analysis, and maybe this is the way the trade that I will open during the trader contest. Since I am not maybe willing to or expecting a lot of things to happen today, maybe that could be the way to play today the trader contest. Try to profit from this bullish opportunity, of course not targeting the 114.60 something, maybe just the 114.40 or something. So I need to do some job for some work for the next hours. So I believe it's time to call it a webinar. Remember that well, first of all, I would like to thank everybody for showing up. RacerX, David, thanks for dropping by, all the guests, Rocas and Xenia, thanks for hosting, thanks for recording, and reminding you all that I will be back on Monday at the same time, same place. Remember that I expect you Monday. Have a very good weekend, safe one. Try not to do what I want to do this weekend. Try to be with your family, with your loved ones. Try to forget about the trading world if possible. Of course, I won't be thinking about this around the clock during the whole weekend, but yes, I will